This is Hype Fitness. Today I'm going to be talking about fitness indicators and what you should be tracking. Um, so the three aspects of fitness we have diet, exercise, and sleep. Um, Now, what things do you need to track to keep track of every single day to make sure you're on the right path to a good body? So the two main important things is your weight to do with your diet and the load and reps you're doing for your training. Like if you were to take just two things from this video, um, just tracking your weight and tracking how much load and reps you're doing every session and making sure you're progressively overloading, doing more than you did last time. Those are like the two main important things that you can track, because with your weight you can know if you're eating too little or if you're eating too much, depending on if you want to maintain, bulk or cut, you know. So these two are like the main indicators that are like the must-haves. And then we have some sort of very useful indicators that most people who are very serious about their fitness track. So for the diet, it's your calories and daily protein. So this is making sure you're getting 1 gram per pound of body weight for your protein, and you know how many calories you eat, because that is what's going to change your weight really. Calories can be a much more targeted approach to your diet, so you can be more on point rather than having to guess with your weight fluctuations, which can be like heavily water weight and other stuff. So calories is a good solid indicator. And daily protein, because if you're not having protein, then you're not really gonna build muscle. For your training, what can be useful, so the things in bold are like things that you should probably like 100% track, and these are like if you want to be pretty good, you should also track. So your RPE, this is how much you're trying. Usually for hypertrophy, you want to be in the 8 zone, the 7 to 8 zone of how much you're trying. So that's basically you have 2 reps left in the tank. That's like the best stimulus fatigue ratio to build muscle. Because obviously you don't want to be going to failure every time, and obviously you don't want to be like having 5 reps left in the tank. Otherwise, that's not most optimal to build muscle. So keeping track of how many reps you had left for every set you do can be a good indicator to making sure you're hitting the right target. Because yeah, you can be sort of out of the zone and realizing, hey, you're going way too hard, or hey, you're going way too under hard. So it can really put you in the right track. And sleep. So sleep is also very important, but there's not much to track for sleep. The only thing that you can track is how many hours of sleep you're getting. So if you're getting under 7, knowing that and being like, okay, sleep is very important for my fitness. These are the 3 pillars. You know, maybe I should get more than 6 hours of sleep. So yeah, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. 8 hours is really, really good for hypertrophy. Anything anything more than 9 is probably too much. So 8 to 9 hours of sleep. So this, you can do hours of sleep by just your alarm clock, but yeah, these are the main indicators that most people do. And if you want to be a bit extra to like probably what a lot of bodybuilders are doing, and you know it can be useful, your macros, trying to center carbs around workouts and fats around later in the day, so during sleeping times away from your workouts, because they're pretty satiating. And yeah, making sure you're carb loading before your workout. Maybe you could track that. I mean, if you get an app, you can track all of these in one: your weight, your calories, your protein, and your macros. So there's a lot of good apps out there, like MacroFactor. There's an RP Diet app. You can even use like MyFitnessPal and stuff like that. If you're training, you could track your rest times. And what I like to do personally is write notes to how to improve form for for some exercises that need form work on. So if you're like deadlifting wrong, maybe you can think about different ways of write down notes, or like how your form fucked up for your deadlift this session, for example, and how you can improve that, and maybe watch some videos and take some notes. And before you do your next session of deadlifts, maybe you can read up on those notes and try to implement that into practice. Rest times, you know, some people don't like to take rest times. I mean, it's not needed, but it can give you into the right ballpark. So if you're not taking at least a minute rest for pretty much all exercises, a minute is like sort of the bare minimum, and anything more than 5 minutes resting is a bit stupid. So I think 3 to 5 minutes is generally a good time for compound movements and 1 to 2 minutes for isolation exercises as like a general kind of rule. Sleep, I think it's pretty useful to write just generally how you're feeling. So if you're sleeping like 9 hours but you wake up and you feel like shit, maybe you can note that, because your body's kind of a really good indicator of telling you, hey, something's not right here. Or if you're sleeping 2 hours and you're feeling great, I mean, it's good to know generally just how your body feels when you wake up. If you're really refreshed and good, you can put great. Like, this is just a very simple scale, bad to okay, great. Um, but yeah, that can be useful as well. So I think these are the main sort of tracking indicators that you should be using to improve yourself for your fitness. The ones that are bold are like things that like the must-haves. Like, you need to be tracking your weight every day. Otherwise, you have no clue what you're even doing with your diet, and yeah, making sure that you're improving in your training. And then the things that are useful are like things that if you're at least somewhat more than if you're somewhat serious, if you want to be better than just nothing, I think doing useful is really good. And then good is like things if you want to be really good for your fitness, you can do that as well. So yeah, those are the main tracking indicators that you probably need to use like daily if you really want to improve your fitness. So thanks for listening, guys.